You will note that, and this is evident from the documentation that is submitted, that the original budget was 68,104. An additional 28,995 was received. This budget also includes a 10% retention, and the total expenditure amounted to 105. So what we did was we continued to achieve what we were supposed to achieve on that particular year, but because of the extra 28,995 that we received, we had then decided to bring forth or to expedite the waste management equipment to establish a functional dumping site for that particular year. Hence, it looks as if we had 105 that we spent. It's only because we brought forward expenditure that was supposed to be incurred in the following year. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I will respond on prohibited awards. Indeed, the municipality confirms that it does not knowingly appoint individuals already in its service. However, Auditor General, through its CAST system, identified potential conflicts of interest, flagging individuals linked to municipal employees. For an example, former councillors and former officials may have registered a company that now conducts business with the municipality. These instances as a municipality are difficult to detect independently because we rely on self-declarations. The release may inadvertently result in contraventions of Section 112, 1J of MFMA and Supply Chain Management Regulation. Now, as a municipality, we've got procedures that we intend to put in place that are independent verification procedures, wherein we intend to implement new internal processes for verifying declared interest and conducting due diligence. Another issue that we want to do as a municipality is that we want to do public awareness campaign, wherein, like, in the next coming local government elections, these councillors, they'll be going off the system. Now, as they go off the system, we should ensure that we do the comprehensive campaign to educate employees and councillors on conflict of interest regulations, ensuring compliance and transparency.
The issue where the question was around whether in 23. Expenditure, which comes to about on the 3.2 billion, about 1.3 billion account amount reconciled. Very clear that we have nothing to hide. We are telling you whatever is there can be investigated. When you look at, for example, unauthorized expenditure, all of our unauthorized expenditure relates to impairment and depreciation, which was not correctly accounted for in the previous years. And what we are saying is that there is no loss for the municipality, but we don't want to make a global recommendation. We want those who feel like there's something that could have been done to institute consequence management. They must come and help us do this, and we are amenable to whatever recommendations they come with. The last one will be your fruitless and wasteful expenditure, which is around 83 million, which relates mainly to interest from Auditor General, the interest from Telcom, Eskom, and then interest from SARS. Those we have already also submitted the report to National Treasury to try and say, let us see whether we can get to an amicable solution together. Thank you.
Accounting entries.
Thank you. Colleagues, when you respond, you must also bear in mind that we have a limited time. And one thing that we must also indicate is that when we respond, can we please try to give a true reflection of exactly what is happening? Because when we ask some of the questions, it's because of the concerns that were raised by AG. And there's a response that you have given to us, but it really doesn't mesh with what the AG has just said. When you look at the issue of more budget spent, but fewer targets achieved, and you look at the response of the AG said, management spent money on the wastewater project work that was not planned, number one. Secondly, resulting in them exiting the budget, whereas the outcome of the planned target remained unchanged. What does that mean? You spend money on something that you did not budget for, however, the result is still not changed. That is the response of the AG on that matter. Can you please briefly explain as to what happened to the issue of wastewater projects?
No, as we have indicated, we're talking about two things here. So there's a query on waste management project. Sorry. The query on the waste management project is the one that talks to expenditure on laboratory. Let me just check the expenditure on the laboratory. And then there's, so we're talking two different issues. The one that I'm talking to is, can I see that? Yeah, so I spoke to the one that talks to overperformance.
Okay, now that you are saying we are talking about two issues,
Yeah.
let's talk about this one that I'm talking about, where you have spent money on the wastewater work, which was not planned.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think if you can check your notes, it should be written waste management instead of not water waste. We had highlighted when we started that we are not a water authority. I think it's written like that in your documents over there. But however, the one that you're talking about, perhaps it's on the water indigent support grant of 17.7 million.
Can I just assist?
Okay, Chair, thank you.
Sorry, the question to you was more budget spent but fewer targets achieved. You responded, the disparity between the budget spent, which is around 5% of the original allocation and targets, 65% for basic service delivery, infrastructure, and you go on and then you say the additional funds, this is lower down, the additional funds were used to purchase waste management equipment to establish functional dumping sites, a critical intervention for service delivery, while originally not planned for the financial year. Okay? Then you say approval was obtained to fast-track the project. Now, the AG is saying they penalized you because the issue raised by the audit team highlighting the incomplete, okay, let me go back. The Auditor General says management spent money on the wastewater project work was not planned, resulting in them exceeding the budget, whereas the outcomes of the planned target remained unchanged. So between the two, you say you use money for the waste management project. Now, in the course of all of this, the Auditor General's report is saying the project, which is the wastewater management project, that part of the money went to, was not planned. But whilst you did that, then they are arguing that the planned project for that year were not completed. In other words, you didn't meet the target on what you planned. You did a lot, and you did what was not planned, and even sought a new approval for it. But they are arguing that on what you had actually planned, you actually didn't spend all the money there. So you have now got a dispute of facts between you and the AG. And as you know, if you are accused and you've got a magistrate, we'll take the side of the magistrate. So if we still disagree, we leave it at the fact that we and you are disagreeing because the Auditor General hasn't changed their mind on your view on the comment.
Thank you, Chair. Do you want to respond?
Chair, I think we do agree with what you're saying now. What we're saying is that we did spend the 105 is because of an unplanned project, which was planned for the following year. But because it was easier to implement because we were just buying waste management equipment, we did that. They requested an approval to buy that waste management equipment. The second part of it is that, yes, the target that were submitted for that particular year, they were not all achieved. That we agree.
That's the issue. What we're basically saying, the Auditor General is not wrong. So you explaining the thing that the Auditor General has still disputed after you explained to us. In other words, you should actually not have said this. You should have said to us, yes, the Auditor General is correct. We had more money and we spent on the project that we wanted to fast track. We didn't finish what we needed to do, so we must plead guilty there. Because it's a matter of accounting that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a question of whether you did well or you didn't do well. You can buy the whole country with the amount of money you get. When you do so, we say, well done, you bought the whole country. But actually, you were supposed to buy 2 houses, you didn't buy them. So it doesn't matter how well you did. The argument is whether was this what was planned, and the issue is no. And your answer should not have said that, you are fine. The Auditor General still insists, and we agree, we understand what the Auditor General is saying. He just wanted you to concede that this is something that you can't do again in the future because this is the problem.
Thank you, Chair. I will then go to Honorable. You'll come back. Okay. Honorable Member.
Hello? Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. And thank you to the Mafeking Municipality for reporting to us today. My questions, well, just a quick comment and then a question that's fairly simple. First of all, well done on getting your collection rate up into the 60s. But obviously, it's going to need to get quite a lot higher because you're only really sustainable sort of once you hit the 80% or whatever. Once you get above about 83, 84%. So I hope you do have a plan to get there and that you're working towards that. And then the second thing is actually just about the audit outcomes over the last 5 years, which in every instance has been qualified. What is your plan to get yourself out of the qualification zone and to improve your audit outcomes? And can you make any undertakings to us? So if we return here in 2 years' time, what could we expect from you as far as an audit outcome? Would we still see qualified, or do you have a plan to sort that out? Thank you.
The Executive Mayor and the team.
Thank you, Chair. So we are of the view that we should actually get to an 80% collection rate. And this is simple. We had an engagement with Melinda. She said, I'm acknowledging you, ma'am, that they are going to help us because 90% of the people who own, so we have three categories. We have households. 90% of the people who are staying in our houses are government employees. As much as they want to invoke 216, there must be a way of creating another form of 216 to make people pay us, because we cannot make a lot of noise when the municipality is owing and we are quiet when the municipality is being owed. We have also indicated that out of the gross debt that we have, 900 million of those debts are from government departments and government entities. As much as when we are not paying people, 216 is rushed to, that must also be invoked on our behalf. We have now the business community, which through LED we convened with them, and we have asked them to actually make payments to us, and they've agreed. In actual fact, the only thing they were querying was the fact that our rates and taxes were not cost effective, and we've changed them. Unqualified audit opinion. We had, in the previous year, 8 paragraphs that gave us an unqualified audit opinion. We are sure that we have dealt with 5. That is still to be attested by the Auditor General in the current year. We have 3 that I would not want to discuss here, so that I don't influence Auditor General or I don't. Yes. But we have 3 audit opinions that we still foresee that they will be coming in the current year, mainly because the municipal manager Kibuetlar, mainly the estimates, the distribution losses, and what's the other one? Yeah, those are the only 3 ones that we have not yet said we are going to deal with. But in the following year, because we have already started with correct reading in houses, we are sure that we will attain an unqualified opinion, not this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Bila.
Thank you so much, the chairperson of the session. My apology, the carpet and myself, we are not friends. So I'm struggling. And thanks to the presentation by the Mahikeng Municipality, the AG noted that the municipality takes an average of 76 days to pay the creditors, well above the 30-day requirement, and that 99% of municipal debt is unlikely to be recovered. And this raises material uncertainty about financial sustainability. I just want to check if there is improvement on this practice. If no, are there measures that are put in place in order to improve on this practice? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Municipality.
Thank you, Chair. Ma'am, we do not have any creditors. Thanks a lot. If there's anyone who's disputing or who's saying that we owe them, we are more than happy to entertain that, and we will report that we do not have creditors. We had one person who was making a lot of noise that we owe them, but they did not have any contract with the municipality. We've never taken any tender on that. We've never given them a letter of appointment. They do not have any SLA, and I refused to pay it. And I said at National Treasury that if you give me an instruction to pay it, I will pay it, so that when it becomes an irregular expenditure without following any process, I can point that this is an instruction from one of the people from National Treasury. But that's the only person who really made a lot of noise that we owe them. The debt that is bringing uncertainty onto the going concern of the municipality, it is true, but I've already indicated that 90% of the people who owe us are government employees. Government is currently giving people housing allowances. We say direct that to us. Let us make the municipality viable. Give us the money. You have the means to give us the money. And the interventions, we are also very considerate. We have decided to give people 60% debt write-off so that we can recoup at least 40%, invest it, and get money in a form of interest. But our people did not play onto that part as much as we anticipated. Hence, we extended it. But we're doing something, and we are sure with the intervention of Melinda, the MEC, that we will get it right. We're going to get our money. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Maduna.
Oh, no, thank you. Good day, colleagues, to the Speaker of the Legislature, the Premier, the members of the Executive. I just have the name, the Municipal Council, political leadership. My name is Ntando Maduna. A member of Parliament. I sit in the portfolio of public accounts, also in the HE. No, I just have a few short questions. I think I will start from where my colleague would have ended. I think my colleague basically would have wanted to check you in the previous financial year, which is what CFO would have been audited already. Your average, well, me and you know that it's a 30-day requirement in terms of payments of the creditors, but your average days that you take to pay is 76 days. That's not a good thing. I think that's the first thing. Why is this? That's number one. Number two, I'm really worried about the state of the municipal financials. I will tell you why. Your current liabilities in the previous financial year far exceeded your current assets by, I think, by 202 million. Why are you not dealing with this? What makes you to be in this liquidity pressure? Three, I want to check February 2023. You had a security company contract that would have ended. When it ended, you extended it with 3 months. Now, I want to check how much of the unauthorized expenditure did you spend in that contract, because I believe that would not qualify as an emergency, as you would have known when the contract is actually it's a source of poor planning. It's as a result of poor planning. Was this, so I wanted to check how much did that extension, how much did you spend in that extension? Was it properly approved by council? Ultimately, and I also want to check, when you appointed the security service provider, it's largely there in the media. You appointed someone that would have used an address that relates to one of your employees in the office of the mayor, I think. And now, I want to check in the bid documents, did the winner declare that he was renting a property from that person? Because generally, I think for me and you would agree that if you are renting a property from me, you know I work for that particular municipality and you are bidding there, it is required that you declare in the documents that you have some business relations with me, even if they have nothing to do with that particular tenant. So I want to check that. Furthermore, there are allegations in that you had awarded the 3-year contract, security contract, for as you awarded it for 63 million. If you calculate it to a month, it's about 1.7. There are allegations that you are paying those people more than 2 million a month. Was there any extension of scope? Lastly, I'm really worried. I'm looking at your grants. I see that you underspend your grants with something, I think, WSA with 17 million and the second one with 14 million. Why are you not spending your grants in the previous financial year? Thank you.
Thank you. Municipality?
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with the ones that I thought I had addressed quickly. The current liabilities and current assets. The state has changed. We now do not have any current liabilities. The second one that I thought I had also made right is the issue of unauthorized expenditure. Maybe when it comes to irregular expenditure, is something else, we will also allude to that, Chair. So, and I want just to say that even if you look at the reports that we submit, Section 71 report, Section 52 reports, Section 52 capital D report, you will see that indeed what I'm saying is not just to get out of the firing line. Our creditors are sitting at 0. So then we speak about the grants. The majority of the grants that were not spent, let's look at our MIG. Our MIG, we're always spending 100% on our MIG. Hence, we got an extra amount to spend. That was an indication. They will never give us money if we are not spending. That was an indication. Then we have what we call the neighborhood grant. That is one of the grants that we did. It appeared like there was no expenditure on the neighborhood grant. And the thing is, the money came in quite late, and there was a disjuncture that the MEC was talking about where we did not talk about who applied for the money so that we can have what do you call it? A source of
wrap up, Ndate.
Thank you.
Remember that you are working on 2 minutes. Don't over elaborate when you respond.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Member. The security contract was extended through council resolution in terms of section 116 by Mahiken Council. Therefore, council has approved the extension. On the issue of the address of one of our employees, indeed, we found out from the media that one of our employees' address was used for purpose of that security. Nonetheless, from our side, we did not, usually from the beginning of the financial year, senior managers and managers are expected to disclose all their properties on our disclosure form. So all senior managers and managers, they do disclose. Indeed, the tender was for 63 million. And at the time when the tender was awarded, obviously in terms of SARS laws, if you are not registered for VAT, you have to register for VAT. So that company then registered for VAT. And obviously there's an output and input VAT wherein the difference will be paid over to the state. So when the new CFO came also, we resolved the issue of VAT of that service provider, which was also a compliance matter. I think there was no extension. Like I've already alluded, the contract was extended in terms of section 116 of MFMA. Thank you.
Thank you. You have 1 minute for follow-up.
No, thanks. I want to check. So the company would have bid and awarded without a VAT, but after you were paying it, you are paying it including the input VAT. I think that's one follow-up. And secondly, I want to check MM and CFO. In your salaries, in your financial statements of last year, there's one last item there where you put it as other. What is included in that other? The MM, we have 362,000. The CFO, it's 244,000. What are the line items that are included in that other, in your salaries? Thank you.
Municipality?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, thank you. So,
You
they're
have
saying
2 minutes.
I must not over-explain. So if you charge me and you tell me that your price is 100 Rand excluding VAT, and the other person charge me and say, my price is 115 including VAT, is the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Member. The question on other, I am not sure what could be other big, because municipalities, and Mahijeng is one of the M-score. We are actually using M-score on our reporting. Each and every cent is spent on budget strings. So I think the CFO on the issue of other and salaries is something that was just on paper, but on the system, you cannot spend without a budget string. Thank you.
Now, I think what we will do, because we can see that the honorable member is not quite happy with the response, can you please submit a written response that explains that question, that gives us a clarity on that other that is indicated there.
That will be done.
Honorable Mtolo, Honorable Kubeka.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to the House. Chair, I think there's a very big dispute of facts, like our earlier Chair said, between what we are getting here and what we have as all those opinions. I do understand, and I do acknowledge that these audit opinions are from financial year 2023-2024. So on that note, I would like to ask, 2023-2024 financial year, which is what we have from the Auditor General, we've got unauthorized expenditure of 1 billion, fruitless and wasteful expenditure 36 million, irregular expenditure 2.16 billion. However, we've got no investigations, we've got no recoveries, we've got no consequence management. The first question there is why? Could the executive please explain to us why there haven't been any investigations according to the Auditor General? Why there are no recoveries? Why there's no consequence management? And then, Chair, 6th August 2025, council members wrote to the Mayor, Honorable Tsepiso Mpehlo, apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, to demand clarity on the irregular appointment of 4 senior managers and the CFO. The question there is, how did these appointments come about? And I ask that because the MEC of Cox and Human Settlements, Honorable Molapisi, wrote to the municipality on the 25th of February 2025 outlining irregularities concerning the appointment of the CFO and other senior managers, namely public safety manager, corporate services manager, socio-economic manager, and community services. Noting that these appointments, from what we have, were made on the 30th of January 2025. These appointments were allegedly not properly disclosed to the council. The next question there is why. It has now emerged that the interview and screening process contravened the Municipal Systems Act. Is that true? This is for the MM. And I asked this specifically to the MM because from what we have, the MM has been there for quite some time, over 24 months. The council objected to the appointment of Mahole as the senior manager for corporate services due to allegations of nepotism and fraud, which is under investigation by the Hawks. Could the MM and or the mayor speak to us about that? The council said that the fact that these managers were appointed irregularly is not surprising, as it is not the first time that these appointments were made in this fashion. Several acting senior managers who were appointed for longer than 3 months without the concurrence from Honorable Molapisi, as prescribed by the Municipal Services Act. Why would they continue, or why would the council and or the mayor continue to appoint those people without the concurrence of the MEC? And then just lastly, Chair, there's a former MM in the municipality, a certain Mr. Haney Smith, together with 7 other accused, appeared before the Mahikeng Specialized Commercial Crimes Court on the 18th of October 2024 for several charges which include fraud, theft, corruption, money laundering, and contravening the MFMA Act, the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, and the Public Finance Management Act. Mr. Smith was granted 150,000 rand bail. The question there is, what is happening with that case in as far as Mr. Smith is concerned? And has that land that was sold in that transaction that got them into trouble been brought back to the municipality? If not, why? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Municipality, the Executive Mayor and the
Okay.
team.
No, thank you, Chair. Yeah, apologies. Now, Chair, when it comes to the, I'll just focus on the appointment of the senior managers. Now, yes, we did receive few communication from the MEC disputing the appointment of the senior managers. Now, I need to emphasize, Chair, that the senior managers are not appointed either by the mayor or the municipal manager. All senior managers are appointed by council. Now, this letter that the Honorable Member Mtolo is talking about, it is not the council disputing, but only one councillor who was also part of the council sitting. And we do have also the proof that she even signed and also agreed that she was part of the decisions which were taken by council. But above anything else, because of what the letter coming from the MEC, it is an issue of interpretations of the law. And we thought that at least we must seek for a dispute resolution than taking this matter to court. In some of the questions which were requested by the MEC was on the basis of screening time, the chairperson's report, which the MEC said it was the report, the closing report was done post instead of prior. But you cannot write or say you are closing the matter before. Once the panel has satisfied itself with the business of the day, the report has to come after, not prior. It has to make sense on that one.
Dr.
The other
Majoro,
one,
can you please try to manage time?
okay, no, we'll definitely
We are
manage time.
running
We
out
have
of
to
time.
amplify also just to have an understanding. The other one, for example, now I said the matter was taken for dispute resolution. The other one, for example, which was raised by the MEC, the place of duty station in the advertisement. There's only one Mahiken local municipality and only one head office. And some of these questions, they go to the MEC's office before they can come to the municipality. And also the same department sits as observers when all these processes unfold. So that is just on the basis of the appointment of all senior managers. The other one which was raised by the same councillor, there's that same letter saying that the matter is with the Hawks, but there's no case with the Hawks as we are sitting here. Perhaps once you're saying that there are allegations, there must be a case number because the Hawks are the authorities of government. They're not just as an open body or just a straight committee, which does not run without the regulations of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, let's take note that the staff regulation was promulgated on the 21st of September 2021, which had to be gradually introduced to municipalities in terms of what must happen. Now, when I was appointed on the 1st of August 2022, Mahikeng local municipality, they took the staff regulation as it was directed by then that we must develop a recruitment policy from it. That is what Mahikeng local municipality has exactly done. And as the chairperson of the day, I have followed the recruitment policy of Mahikeng in ensuring the appointments that was done by council. On the issue of the Hawks, by one of the employees, we have screened all the employees and all of them, no one has been charged with any criminal activity. On the matter of Mr. Hani Smith, our former MM, the case is still ongoing, and as the municipality, we are still awaiting for the outcome on his case. If we are talking about the land, the DPCI, National Prosecuting Authority, they have asked ourselves and SHRA to deal on the issue of costs of paying the curator bonus. Now we have agreed that SHRA, because they are the one who've got an existing building, with Mahikeng it was only the land. That existing building was secured and the security company must be paid by SHRA. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mtolo, but before we go to Honorable Mtolo, I just want to ask the MEC something. MEC, is it a requirement for MEC to give concurrence to the municipality when they appoint senior managers? And in case where you are unable to issue that concurrence based on the reasons that you may have, and then what then happens? Do they continue with those officials without your concurrence? Or is there a need for mediation process? Or is there a need for legal process on that matter? Where's the mic?
Thanks, Chair. Yes, it is a requirement that after the entire process has been concluded, information must be submitted to the executive authority for support or concurrence. We then evaluate, as I said earlier, compliance with the regulations, and should we find that there was no compliance, would direct the municipality to correct that. But like the mayor said, if there is a dispute, then we look into the alternative dispute mechanism, which is what is happening between us as a department and the municipality. Or we go to court to seek a declaratory order. Thank you.
So you can confidently confirm that there's a mediation process at the moment between your department and the municipality?
They have written to us, we have agreed, we have referred the matter to both accounting officers, the head of the department, and the municipal manager to look into what is being proposed.
While you are in that process, what then happened to the people who have been already appointed?
And they continue.
Should there be an element of irregular appointment who's going to carry the cost for appointing those people?
Those who would have appointed, those who were involved. And that is why I made a point earlier on that we make these points clear to the municipality that they must be aware of the consequences should the court rule in our favor, that we are going to hold them individually liable. So we can't stop the municipality from not continuing, because the municipality, like I said, it's an appointing authority. So we'll allow court processes or whatever processes to take their due course, and then later, like I said, we'll have to hold them individually liable.
Okay. Thank you, MEC. Honorable Mtolo.
Thank you. Honorable Mtolo, the member of Cocta Committee. Chair, I have a follow-up question. I understand this question has been raised or asked. Is on prohibited awards. I think did answer, but the answer was not satisfactory. Because in her response, she said they had no capacity in terms of this audit query or audit report by AG. Why I'm raising this as a follow-up, Chair, is because this was also identified in the previous year. So to be told that they had no capacity, they have no capacity, but what happened last time when the issue was raised, because this issue was identified in the previous year. You mean I understand that you were appointed in 2022, August 2022. You mean even last year you had no capacity to deal with this issue, and even now you don't have any capacity to deal with this issue. So for me, that is no thanks to us in terms of your response. Thank you.
Thank you. Municipality, in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you will also note that the main issue with non-capacity has to deal with cats. So there's an argument between us to say, is this kids picking up the correct people? For example, in our case, Councillor Hasalawi, who is not a councillor anymore, was picked up by kids as a person who's doing business with the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Spears.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, mine is following up on my question that I've asked to the MEC of Finance around the unauthorized irregular expenditure. And I know the question has been asked, but I don't think that we have received a satisfactory answer. Making at the moment, according to what we have in front of us, you are standing at 3.2 billion rand. That is your UIFWE. So I want to understand what actions were taken and tell us what are those actions, what is the status of it, because we haven't received that answer. Somehow you avoid or evade that question. The other one was on the material underspending, and I don't know if it's been asked, the material underspending on the water indigent support grant and the disaster management grant that occurred in the 2023-2024 financial year. And so I believe that the question was answered, but it was asked, but again, we didn't hear what it is that you do to ensure that your conditional grants are utilized effectively, and what steps will you do to not have underspending occur again? And what are you doing to improve your grant management and to ensure that funds are spent in accordance with the intended purposes? Thank you.
Thank you. Municipality.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Indeed, Honorable Member, we acknowledge that on paper our UIF and W stands at 3.2 billion. Honorable Member, I think we should take cognizance of the fact that the municipality only started to have a funded budget from financial year 2024, 2025, 2025, 2026. And it is common course that if you have an unfunded budget, you'll end up having unauthorized expenditure, which was for previous financial years. Cognizance must also be taken that the preparation of financial statements of the municipality from all the years since I was appointed were prepared by the consultants. The CFO has already alluded to the fact that for our county, for our financial statements to be balanced, the consultants were using each and any figure to balance our financial statements. Hence, we are calling for province and national treasury that we need them to come and assist us to probe those, we call them accounting entries. Because there's no way where you will find our fruitless and wasteful expenditure. There's a figure that was used to balance our papers, our financial statements. And also, our irregular expenditure to a certain extent was also used to balance, but that was the work.
As you wrap up, you are left with 30 seconds.
Oh, those were the balances that we still believe that the fruitless and wasteful expenditure of Mahikeng is at around 600 million, which we are currently working on as Mahikeng local municipality. I'll give over to the CFO to proceed to continue.
The CFO has 16 seconds.
Thank you. The unspent grant, you will see that we have received some of the tranches on the 24th of June from Ngaka, which will then leave us with the inability to spend. The next one we received on the 27th of March. That was after the adjustment budget was done. Thank you.
Your time is up. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. I hear the explanation, not the explanation, the confirmation of the unauthorized irregular expenditure. But the explanation is not given to us. You somehow you jump or skip it. You must tell us, okay, So much, so 2 billion rand was on this and that, and it was above board. It was in terms of section this and this of the MFMA. It was done, it was ratified by council. This is it. We don't hear that. We must now just accept that you had an unfunded budget, therefore your affairs were not in order. But somehow someone needs to take responsibility for what has transpired, and that doesn't come out. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mwai.
No, thank you so much, Chairperson. In terms of section 62D, accounting officer has a responsibility to prevent fruitless and wasteful expenditure. From the presentation, I learned that you're still incurring interest, which is fruitless and wasteful expenditure. So I want to know what is it that you are doing to avoid and prevent that, number one. Number two, what is the mandate of this municipality? Because you don't provide lights and water. What is it that you do? Because you spend about 75% on your salaries. So what is it that you do? I think you said something like that, so please clarify that. Number two, number
Honorable
three.
Member, just a moment. Can we please allow the member to speak?
And then for the VAT, I heard you, saying the security company registered VAT after you have appointed them to do the work or extended their contract. But the threshold for registering VAT is 1 million. So if they had already done work with the municipality, were they doing work without being registered for VAT? Did you appoint them not being registered for VAT? So I want to get a clarity on that one. So, and then, Chair, maybe let me stop there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. The Executive Mayor and the team. We're working on 1 minute.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Indeed, in terms of Section 62D, accounting officer must prevent fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Fruitless and wasteful expenditure in the main, we do get ESCOM's account and Auditor General's account inherently with interest. So that is why we end up having interest, that is why we end up having fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Those accounts, when they come, inherently, they already have interest. And that interest, we treat it as fruitless and wasteful. Thank you. On the issue of staff members, our budget is 1.4 billion. Our operational 1.4 billion is inclusive of the grants. 1.3 billion is exclusive of the grants. That is our operational budget. And 35% of that operational budget is what we are currently spending in the people of Mahikeng, which is far below the norm, which was expected to be 40%. I thank you.
Follow up, 30 seconds.
Thank you so much. On your financials, for Mayor, and there's an item there, there's a line item there as other that you put there. So I want clarity on what is it that you put there on your financial statement as other. For the executive management of the municipality, what is it that is put there as other? Because I want to know what is it that you allocate there. Thank you. No, I want to finish with this one. Let's put it this way, and CFO. I've been hearing the word improving. If you are saying you are improving, your audit opinion should be saying unqualified. So from where you are sitting, you are not improving. That's why you won't improve if you're calling improving if you are not improving. Whatever mechanism you've put in to deal with the long paragraphs for the audit opinion, you still haven't improved because you haven't moved from a qualified to an unqualified. So let's put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Do you want to comment, Municipality? Just a 30-second.
Okay, no, thank you for the 30 seconds. Now, the question which the honorable member asked, what is the core mandate of the Mahikeng local municipality? The core mandate of any municipality in the Republic of South Africa, it's about service delivery more than anything else. And that's our main focus. And I need to emphasize this. We spend 35% of the entire budget of the municipality. It's less than even the norm which has been set for the municipalities. The other one, when it comes to improving of the...
As you wrap up,
Okay.
Majoro.
Okay, thank you. Improving means reduction of the paragraphs or the findings of the Auditor General. It does not necessarily equate to unqualified audit opinion or clean audit. But when you say the paragraphs are being reduced, it means that that is the improvement. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Member Van Zyl.
Thank you. I can see the Mayor is very proud. You can see it in the presentation, but however, I have some comments. As we were arriving last night in Mafeking, it's my first time in Mafeking. It's way too hot for me. I can't survive here. So I don't come here, not because it's not beautiful, it's because it's hot. It was very dark. There's literally no street lights. There's hardly any robots that work. So these are the tangible service delivery things, the issues on the ground. I mean, the 40% and the 60% people can't eat and can't live outside. So the AG report, especially on how dirty it was this morning driving from the hotel to this venue, you could see, I even said to the chairperson, I wonder if there was a party that we don't know about because it's just completely strewn with litter. And the AG's report actually says that the weekly refuse removal is at 34.6%. That's the lowest of your targets. The flush toilet, the next one at 50.8%. So why is your refuse removal only at 34.6%? Because it's very dirty. Your town is very dirty. Then just a couple of questions. Have you paid any performance bonuses, not normal 13th checks? Have you paid any performance bonuses to any Section 56 and 57 managers, including the accounting officer, in the last, say, 5 years? And what was the amount of that? Your indigent register, is that updated yearly? I heard someone saying earlier that you are 75% rural, which means that you are possibly quite grant dependent. So I wanted to find that out. And I did hear that your collection rate is at 65% and you are funded. You spoke briefly on litigation. I wanted to find out what is the litigation expenses running average a year for this municipality, because you said you are tied up in quite a lot of litigation. Then just quickly on councillors and officials owing the municipalities for rates and services. We know according to the Structures Act that you're not as a councillor or an official to owe the municipality for more than 90 days. Do you have councillors and do you have officials that owe this municipality any rates and services? And what are you doing to address that? Because that is in fact illegal. Then sewage spills. I know in Danville there's raw sewage flowing into the yards and streets. There's a lot of issues. I don't know, you said earlier that you're not the authority. Are you a provider? Are you a water services provider? Is that falling within your ambit or is that to the district?
As you wrap up, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Chair. I think for now I can leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you. Municipality, the Executive Mayor and the team.
Thank you very much, Member of the Portfolio Committee. Like the Executive Mayor has already alluded that in their tenure when we came here in 2022, we had a contract with Wani Capital that was giving all the yellow fleet and also the compactor trucks. But now when they recouped them, when they took them from us, we had to start afresh. So, but that could not be an excuse. We only have 4 compactor trucks that are collecting around the area. But in the main, one of the other challenges that we are having as a municipality is that we actually have to embark on serious awareness on waste management in the community of Mahikeng. Illegal dumping is a crisis in the city and is something that we want to work on it using our bylaws, which we believe that we will be enforcing them effective from this month as Council has resolved on them. On the issue of the entire town, Member.
Thank you very much, MM. We have 28 traffic lights in Mahikeng. Of the 28, 6 are along the Nelson Mandela Road where we are doing the project under the Public Works Department. Of the 22, the now nearly old system that works in there needs to be changed. We have advertised for the bids that are on the SCM process for their appointment. Some of them, of those 22, the systems will be changed. Some, it's just the cabling that we have lost through theft and vandalism. On the street lights also, the municipality is in the process of procuring the cherry picker. We had in the previous 3 years procured a cherry picker. Unfortunately, with the height of the poles that we have, it is only more usable on the refuse community services end, and we are in the process of procuring one. It will be coming sooner. It's much expensive to hire out.
You've already exhausted your 2 minutes. Can you please try to consolidate the response faster?
Okay. And we have a good internal team that works. We don't use the service providers on public illumination. In terms of the sewer spillages, internally in the town, inside the town, we do not have sewer spillages, except on where we have blockages and our turnaround time within a day, we do take care of them. The one that we have, it's that we are sharing with the district municipality in Denville, as you say, at the pump station. It is the last pump station before the treatment works, and Denville is sitting on a marshland, so sometimes it's not easy to differentiate for people with their eye. It's water coming under the ground. It is a pipe, but because the area is on a marshland, sometimes it's that water table is high, or when we have a problem on the pump stations, but the district municipality has been assisting us with that, and the water treatment works also. The district municipality is taking care of it. There are components that have been repaired, and there is a process plan that is being undertaken to ensure that at all we don't have sewer spillages. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Performance bonus for those whose contract came to an end in 2023 have indeed been paid. They were already assessed, and they were taken to council for purpose of a resolution, and they were paid. Those who were appointed from 2016, whose contract came to an end 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now give Honorable. How many questions have they not answered?
Oh, on the issue of litigation for financial year, we have spent 10 million. That are the costs that we spent on litigations.
The last one that was not answered.
It's the councillors and officials owing.
Can you please use the mic?
It's the councillors and officials owing the municipality more than 90 days as prescribed in the Structures Act, and what are you doing about that, and how much do they owe? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Indeed, councillors and officials, they do owe the municipality, and we are currently workshopping them in terms of the code of conduct, the code of conduct of municipal officials and also councillors. And the intention is that starting from this month, we will be making a reasonable reduction from their salaries for purpose of recouping for rates and taxes and services. Thank you.
We've noted that, but consciously, how do you allow your councillors and your workers to use services for free, whereas they don't fall under that category of indigents? I mean, it's a conscious matter. When you are working in the institution that provides services for you, you must pay. Why can't you have that system that deduct the money from their salaries? How do you encourage community members to pay for services while in your own house, in your own yard, they are not paying?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I'm not talking on behalf of officials, but before you deduct from one salary, they must agree. So it makes it difficult for us when they don't agree, but now because we are taking them on board on the importance, because we've got 775 employees, and it's something that we really want to do as the municipality, and the corporate services department is currently engaging all our staff members for them to sign those stop orders so that we execute them. Thank you.
Chair, permission to speak, please.
Yes, Majomo.
I think my apologies because you're the one chairing the meeting. We're getting a lot of intimidation from the honorable members. I think if you are not responding well, they should not throw hands. At least raise hands properly, then we'll be able to respond. Thank you.
You are protected, it's okay. Honorable Member Van Zyl.
Thank
30
you.
seconds.
Thank you. I have an issue with this saying that they have to agree. It's not a question about agreeing. You take them to a disciplinary. It's illegal. Same with the councillors. It is illegal. Now you want to say they have to agree to it. No, they are working. There are people that are indigent that's supposed to not pay for the services, that are not getting the services because councillors and officials are not paying for their services. You need a plan, and this is a long time coming. It's not just the past year. You said you want to workshop them now. Now it's too late. It should have been done. This is unacceptable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Labuskafne.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, a lot of questions already has been asked. I just want to know the water indigenous support grant. What was the reason that that grant was paid that late? Was it something on your side, or just give us clarity on why it was late? Then there was mention of the staff performance management, and you spoke about the automated performance management system, but also said that you are already busy improving or in a process of finalizing the organization structure. Now, I want to know what is the time frame for that organization structure, and you know, is finalizing mean it's been approved by the MEC and in council? Where in process is it? And then the automated performance management system, you said that it's automated. I want to know, in that system, can there any improvements be done? Who is responsible for reading those reports that's been generated, and who's managing that? And how does that process work? And then in the letter you've written to the committee, the last paragraph request assistance to investigate financial and human resource, to investigate fruitless and wasteful expenditure. I would like to know what type of assistance is it that you request? Is it a financial assistance? Is it human resources? What does that paragraph actually mean? Thank you.
Thank you. The Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. The one for the unspent, it was for the laboratory grant, the laboratory water lab, sorry. Yeah, so what happened is that we have an SLA with Ngakamudri Molema, and we do spend, but before we claim as a conditional grant, we have to meet all the requirements. For example, at the time of closure, when we received the money on the 24th of June, 2024, we had already spent 7.72 on that amount. So as to why it was late, I think Ngaka will be here. They will also be able to explain why it was a little bit late to give us the money. When it comes to the issue of the support that we are requesting from National Treasury, it's not really about the support. It's about them coming to confirm that when we say we do not want to implement consequence management, are we on point? Because we don't want to be seen to be misleading council, to say council must do a global write-off of irregular expenditure, that we are saying this is an entry that we don't know where it's coming from. They must just confirm whether they will be able to trace it. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The job evaluation for Mahikeng was completed on the 17th of December 2024. And in terms of the processes, we were expected to take the job evaluation to council for purpose of adopting it. So on the job evaluation, some positions have been removed through their process, and now the job evaluation that was done, they used the organizational structure that was approved in 2020. So some positions have been removed in that organizational structure. So what must happen now is that based on the job evaluation report, we just have to sit, we are currently sitting, wherein we are redeveloping the organizational structure based on the job evaluation report, which will then be taken to local labor forum for discussion. After it has been discussed at that level, then it will be taken to council for approval. The intention is that by 1st of October, the organizational structure of Mahikeng should have been taken to council, and it must be a structure that has been budgeted for. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Ndamase.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Pumela Ndamase, the member of the Portfolio Committee on COGT. I have two questions. You might have responded to this question, but I still want to listen and hear it for myself in case it missed me. It's the issue of the security company. The question was, did you commission this security company without it being tax compliant? I would like just to hear what is it that you are saying in relation to that. Then the second one is on the topic in your report that talks to underspending on conditional grants, particularly that water indigent support grant. When you explain it, you explain the allocation that was late, but you go further and talks about what you term administrative challenges in identifying and registering eligible beneficiaries. Now the question is, when you get to the issue that has to do with the consequence management, you make a statement that instituting disciplinary measures will be punitive rather than corrective. Now, my question is, how do you reconcile that in light of the administrative hiccups that you have articulated when you were talking also about the late allocation? Where does it feature in terms of your own consequence management? Why do you think you can be able to isolate that and make sure and pretend as if that there was nothing that had to do with administrative hiccups that you had articulated before? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Municipality.
Thank you. Chair, you would understand that tax compliance and not registered as VAT are two different things. So at the time of award, everything on CST would prove that the company that was appointed was tax compliant. The only issue that is at hand is whether or not they should have had VAT, and or the other honorable member actually indicated correctly that the threshold for appointment or for being registered for VAT is 1 million. So immediately when you give them the contract of more than 1 million, then they will have to register for VAT. The second one was to talk about the water indigent support grant. We have indicated that that was for the laboratory. And our previous indication was because when they were asking us about the 17 million and they called it water indigent, we actually indicated that the registering of indigent, remember our indigent was first of all registered at 4,200, and we realized that we are not getting, a lot of people were not qualifying for that, and yet people cannot afford. So we looked at what SARS is doing, that you are only paying tax once you are at 93,500. So we took our indigent there. Hence, the other one, the people did not qualify in majority, and the other one now, people are qualifying in majority. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable
That
Ndabasi.
is not my question, Chair. In relation to the conditional grant, the under expenditure in relation to that, is to how do you reconcile your reason in relation to consequence management, that it would be punitive rather than being corrective, as you respond to what was the consequence management in relation to the underspend expenditure in relation to that conditional grant? That's the question.
The question is related to underspending and consequence management.
Chairperson.
Municipality.
Yeah, Chairperson, thank you very much. The 17.7 million for the indigent grant. The Ngaka municipalities have embarked on a district development model, building a water laboratory jointly. Part of the 17 million, the money goes to the laboratory that has been pledged by the local municipalities and the district municipality, and are currently now built under Mahike local municipality. The other money on part of the 17 million was a joint decision to ensure that the water and sanitation resources are beefed up. And on that, a procurement of a fleet, that is vehicles, TLBs were procured. Part of that also, it's a multi-year funding. It was not for one financial year. And again, looking at the infrastructure, that water infrastructure goes along the streets where there are lighting, also where there are roads. The municipality added its from the coffers also to get us a grader at infrastructure and the cherry picker. Part of it, again, on the business plan which we can produce, that was approved by both the district and the local municipality, was to do maintenance on the pump stations, and as well as procuring the bulk meters on the water, drinking water side. So it's not for indigent, but when you unpack it on the business plan as a multi-year works that were to be undertaken, it was spent for, and we can avail the documents. Unfortunately, here, when it was asked, it looks like 117 million. That was meant for one item, but it's multiple items. The disaster grant, the 14 million, came late. Sorry, ma'am, just give me that. It came late, yes. The project is being undertaken in Denville, where I'm saying it's on a marshland. And the pipe goes under the bridge, where when it rains, the buses, people can pass. The project has just been completed. The National Treasury wrote us to say, what is your problem? Bring the money that you have. But when we showed that we are on the ground and it has started, 4.6 million was the only amount that was taken back, and the 9+ million came back to the municipality. And the municipality, with its operational budget, footed the bill to take it back to the project value. The project is completed,
As you wrap up,
sir, and the closeout report, I believe the municipal manager has it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The department that is depositing money to us, I think that is when we must start to have a conversation with them to say, may we agree that let us not transfer money late such that municipality is unable to spend. Like Ms. Moloitzai has alluded, The money, that 17 million, was for many things that had to happen there. Now, you cannot apply consequence management when you are not the one who has deposited money. The CFO has already alluded to the fact that Ngaka Modiri Molema is here, the people who deposited money to us towards the end of the financial year. Maybe they are the most relevant people to respond as to why have they deposited money late to us. Because we can't spend when we've deposited money on the 24th. We are left with 6 days for the financial year to come to an end. Therefore, we rolled over, but nonetheless, we have used money and there is value for money on that 17 million. Thank you.
Thank you. The province, how many members who?
There's a few of us.
All of you?
Yeah, we'll try not to take time.
I'm going to give you 1 minute each.
Chair.
We're still...
Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Oliphant. I'm the chairperson for the Premier and Finance and a member of this committee. I want to just get clarity from the speaker. There were recent allegations by yourself in respect of the AG and being bought and the outcome not reflecting the work on the ground. Can you perhaps elaborate to us what you meant when you accused the AG of potential corruption or fraud? Then I want to get clarity in terms of the percentage of losses on water distribution and what your plan is in that respect. Then it does not make sense, but I want to hear the interest paid to ESCOM inherently on, let's say, a new bill. That's how I understand it. What would that reason be and how is the billing aligned? Because there may be a need for us to address that issue. It would actually be an undue benefit to them that I don't think is correct. We got from the, I think, Director Infrastructure, an indication of service delivery infrastructure plans and so on. There's no timeline allocated to that. Can we get a timeline about the lights and the streets and all of those things? You raised an issue of personnel disclosures or personal disclosures by both staff and councillors. I just want clarity in terms of how you treat that, because when you get it, you are supposed to do work on it. It appears that there was no system in place at that point. Perhaps you can speak to us. On your dumping sites, in your report, there appears to have been significant challenges in terms of waste management. What is the impact of the waste, what do you call it, the dumping site that you've established? If we can just get that. Then VBS, talk to us just quickly about the status of VBS so that we can get clarity in terms of where you are and when you are going to fill the vacancy for planning. I heard you cry, but you did not tell us when you are going to do something about it. You may just be crying at the wrong funeral. If you can do that, please.
Thanks, you, Honorable Member. We're just going to change the approach now. I'm going to allow the members from the province to ask the questions, and then I will give the speaker to comment. After the speaker, I will allow municipality to answer all the questions.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I'm Smart Matse, a member of the Provincial Public Accounts Committee and the chair of that committee. Am I too loud? No, I'm just asking simple questions, so pardon my volume. Pardon my volume.
Sorry, just go straight to the issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just on the KPIs in relation to basic water and sanitation service, just to understand for 23-24, why were they ignored? Okay. The second thing, just to supplement what was said by Honorable Kubeka around the dispute on the appointment. If we can be updated on when were these appointments concluded by council, when was the MEC informed, as well as the response from the MEC indicating that this sounds a bit unlawful, so that we have a proper trace. And the last one, Honorable Chair, it seems there are different stories being given every time. The last time we were here with the Mafike, we even had to get councillors who owe the municipality to confirm in that meeting that they were going to make arrangements. But today now I get a different story that says, no, this thing cannot be done.
Can we just be clarified? Which one should we take? The one that you gave us last time or the one that you are giving today? Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
No, thanks, Chair. Once again, Offense Mwema is my name, a member of the Provincial Public Accounts Committee. I have a few questions. One, the Executive Mayor gives us an overview of the state of the municipality, and he raises a very crucial or important point that he's engaged in a serious marathon of legal disputes with traditional leadership. And I think this is the most relevant platform to raise that issue because Coxter is here. And what I want to check is that, have you ever had intergovernmental engagements or bilaterals with Coxter because they have a component that deals with traditional affairs? And you're saying your dispute is over land. And land, for any reason, whether it's the municipality disputing or traditional affairs, ultimately must benefit the people. And I don't think you should then be spending a lot of money on legal engagements as opposed to having an alternative dispute resolution. So have you ever engaged in that process? If so, how far are you with that process and is it yielding any results? Two, I want to check with your, it's a good thing, it's commendable that maybe you are one amongst many municipalities in the province that reconciles their own annual financial statements internally, in-house. Can I check, do you have any areas in terms of reconciling your asset registers that requires a higher technical acumen where you need engineers and so forth so that we can have an appreciation of the level of capacity you have as a municipality? Also on the issue of Coxter, I think earlier on I remember raised it, that the MEC intends on reversing your appointments. But I wish to put it differently, Chairperson, to check because AG himself, or herself rather, raised it quite often with many municipalities that it's quite problematic when you have senior positions in management that are vacant for quite long. One, they create instabilities. Two, they affect service delivery. Now we have an MEC who comes now at this stage who wants to reverse those processes. Now, can we check with the MEC for Coxter, what was his intervention during the time when the municipality was suffering from those vacancies that ultimately creates inconsistencies in governance, that creates instabilities? And also the impact, maybe if we can get the situational analysis of how that impacted on service delivery, the time in which you could not fill in those vacancies, so that we're able to apply some sort of comparison to that. But lastly, Chairperson, there are a few projects that were faced with delays. One is the issue of Mabatu Tennis Court. The other one is the upgrade of road from Mabatu Wastewater Treatment Plant to Muletsangwa Village. And they're faced with serious delays. And the AG is then saying, this is created by yourselves relying on engineering consultants to applying monitoring and evaluation of this particular project. So don't you have anyone or internal capacity of a person who can at least apply an oversight or play an oversight role on these consultants so that they're able to complete the job on time? Thanks, Chairperson, and sorry for being long.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. CJ Stella, member of the Portfolio Committee, COCT. Just want to check, how is it the politicization of the administration? And specifically, how was it justified that a senior manager in the office of the mayor was appointed as an acting senior manager in the office of the MM for operations? Because we cannot have a situation where political appointments are extended the authority for administrative issues and responsibilities. Chairperson, the problem in Northwest is largely the politicization and the compromise that is being made within administrations, the deprofessionalization of municipal administrations. And I would like this question to be answered in full. Otherwise, Chairperson, I might request a follow-up. Thank you.
We're not going to allow follow-ups. Honorable Speaker.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I just want to respond to the issue raised by Honorable Oliphant, that the matter took place in a speaker's forum. And what happened, the AG then went to the municipality, engaged on the misunderstanding that was there. After that, they came here in the legislature, the AG, to give me the report on what transpired. So it was a question of misunderstanding there and there. So it had been cleared. Unfortunately, you couldn't get the brief, but I got the brief as a speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's also this burning matter amongst members, the issue of VAT and security company. They feel that the matter is not sufficiently responded to. And I've been trying to avoid that feeling amongst members, so they will even end up thinking that I'm part of the security company. May I please allow the member to raise the matter? Because they raise a concern to say that as much as we have responded, but it's not sufficient. Honorable Maduna.
No, thanks. I think it would be a miscarriage of justice if we don't deal with this matter. One, according to the standard conditions of a tender, and also if you go to, you check where Public Works speaks about special conditions of, if you go further from the GCC, obviously you can if there are special conditions. I'm also going to that. They speak very explicitly about the tender amount. If you do not, if when you are tendering, and the amount that you are tendering with is going to make your turnover to be above $1 million, it goes further. I can quote you. It goes further and it explains that the tender amount must include VAT. When it has included VAT, you have 21 days to go and register and comply for VAT. Now, I asked you here that you were supposed to pay around about 1.7. There are allegations that you are paying more than 2 million. And you said it's because of that. But I'm saying to you, once a tender amount is accepted, that's what this GGC and the special conditions of a bid are saying. They are saying if you accept a tender amount, because it would have went through a particular process with that amount, you can no longer add that VAT after you have awarded those people. Now again, I'm going to ask, are the allegations that you are paying those people more than the amount that you gave them the tender for true? Secondly, we asked a very straightforward question here. We are not intimidating anyone, but we know these things that we are speaking about. I asked a question, you are an accounting officer. There is no way in your salary you have a 326,000 of something that is a return other that you are paying yourself and you don't know what is that. We are asking, what is the other under your salary and the salary of the CFO? In your salary, it's the in your salary it's 362,000. What is included in that ad? In the salary of the CFO, it's 244,000. There's no way that you can pay yourself salary and don't know what is it. We want to know what is that. Thank you.
Speaker, sir. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to be derailed. Can we get the responses at this point? And I'd like to plead with the members that we must move forward. There are two ways of dealing with the issue. If you are disagreeing on the issue, give us new information. If we think the information is not adequate, we will then ask for a full report. But we will not argue back and forth on the same issue. Let's hear where we are and then try and round the issue at that point. The members here get very concerned. If you wander away, please just focus on the answer and deal with the answer in as brief as possible. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chairperson. On the honorable member there in terms of the timeline on street lighting. Like I said, the bids are under SCM process. Can we commit to that by end of the month you would have awarded them in that October our town should be lighting, and as well as public safety, they are going, public works, they are going on the phase 2 We are on engagement with them such that they start with the 6 traffic lighting. In terms of the Mabatu Tennis project and the Moletzamungu Road, the outcome that has been said by the AG, when we do our project management, we on the ground have the day-to-day logbooks, and then we have the project steering committee, the minutes on the technical oversight, and that is what we've been doing year in, year out. But on the year under review, the AG said, over and above what you are doing, you should be doing this part here, monitoring and the evaluation. And they showed us how to coin it up so that when we move forward, we cater for that. They appreciated everything that we had, but they still felt there is that gap that we have. So we concurred with that. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Chairperson of SCOPA, we received the letter from the MEC on the 25th of February 2025, and the municipality was given 14 days to respond, and we responded on the 13th of March 2025. On the issue of Mr. Nathan, we are aware that the landfill site of Mahikeng now is found to be issue of Mr. Nathan. We are aware that the landfill site of Mahikeng now is found to be down, but the intention is that through the district development model, ourselves, Ramotsiri, Ratlo, and Dichobotla, we intend to regionalize the landfill site so that we move it away from the people who are now in an area that is called Musiani View. On VBS matter, is the position is that the liquidator has paid a balance of 5.5 million in the account of Mahikeng local municipality in December 2024. Indeed, we do have engineers who are registered with EXA, but in the main, they are specializing with electricity. So it is the intention of the municipality that we appoint registered engineers who will assist us with electricity. So it is the intention of the municipality that we appoint registered engineers who will assist us with we will just, like now, you will just disclose and that form, we will just, like now, you will just disclose and that form. We believe that going forward, we need to seek advice as to how should we deal with it, or maybe be trained on the matter, and we are open for any advice on that matter. CFO, what allows?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, let me just be quickly on this one. So the percentage of water losses, you would understand that we are buying water from running pipes. So what we are now doing is to ensure that the one that we bought, the quantity that we bought, and the quantity that we billed the people is the same. And the loss will then be accounted between Ngaka and Mahalis. The second one is the part where you were asking about the inherent interest that is paid. Yes, we do agree that it is an undue enrichment on behalf of everyone else that is inherently charging us the interest. We spoke to the Uta General, and they have also agreed that we can pay whatever we owe without paying the interest. At least that amicable solution was reached between us and the Uta General. You stated an issue of the fact that we seem to be changing the fact that we are going to deduct money from our employees. We are still going to do that, Chair. It is just that we have to comply with the Basic Condition of Employment Act, which actually, if I just cite it, is that the employers can only deduct money from employees of salaries if it is consented to in writing, and if the deduction is required by the law or the collective agreement or the court order or the arbitrary award. And furthermore, that deduction is strict and must not be above 25%. That is what the Basic Condition of Employment Act is saying. The asset register, yes, we are doing it ourselves. We do have technical aspects that needs engineers. The valuers are helping us with investment property, and then we also have provision for landfill site, which is quite technical. They are also helping us with that. Okay. Sorry. So the VAT, I think we should take cue from Chair, because we're going to have a dialogue which might put us in the wrong, and we do not want to be in the wrong when we are in a platform like this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. On the issue of other, also is something that we think we'll put it in writing. Already we do have our pay slips here, and they don't have other. So that type of a disclosure is something that we need to relook at. So we'll report it in writing.
No, thank you, Chair. I think there are only 3 questions which were pending, which were not attended to. The first one is the politicization of the administration of the municipality. What we want to achieve as the 5th administration of Mahikeng local municipality is to depoliticize the municipal administration, meaning that we want to appoint people based on merits. We are promoting meritocracy. But under the LRA, Labor Relations Act 213, defines who is an employee. And furthermore, the staff regulation says that anyone who qualifies to act or directly report into that position, they are eligible to execute their responsibilities as they have been appointed to that position. But there is no undue appointment or any acts of nepotism in regarding to the appointment which might necessarily politicize the administration of the municipality. Now, the other question which was asked by Honorable Maima is the vacancy rate which was there. Has it impacted negatively in service delivery? And I must say, Chair, through you, these vacancies of senior managers, it has severely affected the municipality negatively. Now, I think you can see just post the appointment of these senior managers, the roads are trafficable in Mahikeng. Now, including the bid committees are able to sit, and all the funds and grants of the municipality are executed in time. Then the last one, which relates to the land claims or the land question of Barulombo City. We are for our tribal authorities, and we are supporting it, the tribal authorities. We want the land to go back to our people, and we'll definitely furthermore engage with COCTA, including the tribal authorities, to finalize the land claims of Barulombo City. Thank you.
No, we do have to close this discussion. You see, I see now members are getting more and more agitated. Now, there are 2 issues that are creating a bit of agitation. Which one? Nepotism and the VAT. All right. Okay. Let's just deal with it this way. Let's get the information on the basis of which there is the accusation of nepotism and hand it over to the MECs for investigation. We need that to be the way to deal with it. Sometimes the way the responses come make you feel that in fact this is the beginning of the discussion, not the end. And that's what I can see. I haven't been there to follow it up properly, to understand it properly. So there's this issue of nepotism, MEC, COCTA, that's yours. We will need a report coming back to us. There's another issue of VAT. CFO, let's talk. We don't like your response. Ne? The reason why we don't like your response, now I might have got it wrong because I was moving in and out. So from what I hear, it sounds like this. No service provider will be given consideration unless they are registered for VAT, provided that the work they do is over 1 million. So if you are over 1 million, you must be VAT registered, otherwise we don't consider you. That's how I understand it. Next, the CFO says, we consider the applicants, the service providers, on the basis of the submissions they make. When they've done the submissions, we then decide who is most suitable, and then we award them the contract. But if it just so happened that the contract is more than 1 million, we would have then considered them whilst they were at lower than 1 million and therefore unregistered for VAT. And we will only ask them, once we have awarded them, that they must go and register for VAT. Did I understand it like that? Is that everybody's understanding? Am I wrong? I'm right. Okay. Now, here's your problem. There is no one who gets to be given a contract and apply and get considered for a contract unless we knew the value of the contract ourselves. And if we know the value of the contract, we already know that this one will be more than 1 million. Can't be 7 million and you got a shock, we thought it was 900,000. So there is no way we could not anticipate that the individual who would have applied for a particular contract would have had to be registered, because in the first instance our own calculations are that he would have gotten a contract at more than 1 million. Now you can certainly discover when you have issued out a contract at 20 million that in fact it's more than 1 million, when these people you considered were less than 1 million and therefore they were not VAT registered. It's not compliant from the start.